beat in November at the Maui Invitational, or tangle with the 3-seed Iowa State or the 2-seed Michigan State, led by the legendary Tom Izzo. But first things first, Auburn awaits the winner of the battle of 16 seeds between ASU and St. Francis. Again, that game is tomorrow night. Auburn takes the floor Thursday at 1:50 in round one of the South Regional in Lexington, Kentucky. The Hornets of ASU won the SWAC tournament Saturday night in Atlanta, 60-56 over Jackson State. C.J. Hines scored 20 points. It's the Hornets' first trip to the Big Dance since 2011. They're 19-15, coached by Tony Madlock, who was an assistant at Auburn under Tony Barbie from 2010 to 2014. Auburn played Alabama State in December of 2023 and beat the Hornets 82-62. The Tigers 6-0 against ASU. In round two, the Tigers would face Louisville or Creighton, as we said. The Cardinals, a very strong rebounding team. ACC tourney runner-ups. They were 8-24 last season, 27-7 this season under ACC Coach of the Year Pat Kelsey. They're ranked 10th in the AP poll. The Creighton Blue Jays are 24-10, Big East tournament runners-up. They played Alabama in December in Tuscaloosa, gave the Tide a tussle before losing by 8. Big man Ryan Kalkbrenner is first team All Big East.
Alabama is the number 2 seed in the East region. The Tide will play 15th-seeded Robert Morris Friday in Cleveland. Bama's coming off a 104-82 loss to Florida in the SEC tournament semifinals. Its second loss to the Gators in a span of 10 days. The Tide's 4-5 in its last 9 games. Their finish sounds a lot like last year when they were 5-5 heading into the tournament, but we all remember what happened last year in the Big Dance.
Nobody wants to be a front runner in life, for sure, as a competitor in basketball. So we gotta get these guys to compete hard. And then Ira referenced the run last year, because if we go back to last year's second round game against Grand Canyon, things were not going well for large parts of that game. Midway through the second half, it did not look like we were going to win, and then we flipped it. And Mo Diabate was a big part of that, and he made a bunch of tough plays, and we fought through some adversity and some tough play, and we won second round and then beat Carolina, and things didn't go great that whole game either. At halftime of the Clemson game, we hadn't been playing our best basketball either, but they were hitting some tough shots, and we were missing some open ones, but we just stuck with it, and next thing you knew, we were in the first Final Four in school history. Well, we've got to get that back, and we've got enough guys that were on last year's team that have that we need to get them back with that mindset going in this tournament.
2 wins for Alabama and Cleveland, and it's off to Newark for the East Region semis and final. If the Tide beat Robert Morris, they'll get the winner of the 7-10 game between St. Mary's and Vandy. In the Sweet 16, they could meet up with 3-seed Wisconsin or 6-seed BYU. In the Elite 8, a matchup with 4-seed Arizona or rematch with 5th-seeded Oregon is possible. And when the brackets came out, we know you immediately started thinking about a Duke-Alabama matchup in the East Region Final. The Blue Devils won the ACC tournament with Cooper Flagg on the sidelines with an ankle injury. How healthy he'll be for the NCAA tournament, who knows? But Bama and Duke is the matchup everybody wants to see. But no one's looking past Robert Morris. The Tide and Colonials battle Friday at 11:40 a.m. in Cleveland. So who is Robert Morris? The Colonials are located near Pittsburgh. They won the Horizon League and they're 26-8. It'll be their first Big Dance trip since 2015. Robert Morris's leading scorer is Cam Woods, who averages 15 points. He played high school ball at Pinson Valley with Kool-Aid McKinstry. It's the 5th school Woods has played for. In round 2, the Tide will get the St. Mary Vandy winner. The Gales are in the tournament for the 4th straight year. They're the 7th seed out of the West Coast Conference. Bama fans would be very comfortable if Vandy won that game. The Tide overpowered the Doors 103-87, but Vandy is 20-12. They have wins over 5 ranked teams.
Alabama-Auburn, Iron Bowl of B-Ball 3 won't happen unless it happens in the national championship game, and wouldn't that be something? That dream SEC title game didn't materialize in Nashville. Johnny Condon covered the Tide and Tigers last week, and they've moved on quickly after Saturday's losses.
Yeah, Jeff, well, it was a so-so SEC tournament for both Auburn and Alabama. Both teams return home with a victory. However, disappointment of not cutting down the nets. But when it comes to next week, the opportunity in front of them, they know what they can do in the NCAA tournament. And we'll start with Auburn.
We just have to buy in to, prolonging our season. Because, the next time we lose, God forbid, that's it. There's no more team. There's no more, fun. There's no more team meals. There's no more brotherhood.
Probably some of our leaders need to be more vocal, be more assertive in what we got to say, because now it's a different sense of urgency that we got to have moving forward.
It's unfortunate that we had a couple losses at the end, towards the end of the season, but we feel like we put together a great resume in order to get that #1 seed.
We can go into the tournament feeling sorry or mad or nothing. Obviously we wanted to win this. We played to try to win, but it didn't go our way. I say it's a new season basically.
There's no more games promised after the first one we play. So, we just got to continue playing hard, and we got to not want to have this feeling no more.
As for Alabama, they're fresh off being dominated by the Florida Gators. However, if there's any team that knows how to flip the switch come March, it's Nate Oates' Crimson Tide.
It's win or go home, literally. We don't want this to be our last game, and we know that every possession is really going to matter, especially in this tournament.
Oh, it's very exciting because at the end of the day, man, although we just had a bad loss, we'll probably be a 2 seed heading to the NCAA tournament, so we still have a great opportunity, go on a run, win the national championship.
Moving forward, we're hoping to get some more adversity so we can handle it better as a team, and I feel like once we do that, we'll be in a great situation. So.
Just seeing where they're gonna put us probably gonna be the funnest thing for all of us. Just to see what city we get to go to.
I feel like this is one of the biggest stages. I feel like it couldn't get bigger than this. Just getting the rust off is a big part of it, and knowing I'll be ready when the time comes.
And Jeff, both Auburn and Alabama have the top flight talent to make it to a Final Four. However, when the lights are at their brightest, it's still to be seen if these teams are made for March. But for now, from Nashville, I'm Johnny Condon, ABC 3340 Sports.
Thank you, Johnny. Coming up on March Mayhem, the Zone guys stop by to make their Final Four picks.
And it was a record-breaking year for the SEC. But we're going to talk about it.
Welcome back to March Mayhem. The SEC set an NCAA tournament record with 14 teams getting bids to the big dance.
And as Bruce Pearl mentioned, Florida is playing the best basketball, not only in the SEC, but in the country. Sunday, Todd Golden sounded like a guy ready to cut down some more nets.
Type game. We just won 2 Final Four type games, and I think we're just getting started.
As we take a look at the West bracket, the Gators' first serious challenge would be the winner of the UConn-Oklahoma game. Memphis or Maryland could await them in the Sweet 16. An Elite Eight showdown with third-seeded Texas Tech could be awaiting them. But the very popular pick to make the East Final is second-seeded St. John's, coached by the legendary Rick Pitino.
All right, Jamie, let's look at the Midwest, where the Houston Cougars are the #1 seed. Once they take care of SIUE, Southern Illinois Edwardsville, then the winner of Gonzaga and Georgia await them. Fifth-seeded Clemson, an Elite Eight team a year ago. Fourth-seeded Purdue, a finalist a year ago, could be hurdles in the Sweet 16. Elite Eight foes could be Illinois, Kentucky, but the 2 seed here is Tennessee, the runner-up in the SEC tournament. Here's a list of the 14 SEC teams dancing. Amazing. Auburn, Florida on the 1 line, Bama, Tennessee on the 2, Kentucky a 3 in the Midwest, A&M a 4 in the South, Ole Miss a 6 in the South, Missouri a 6 in the West, State 8 in the East, Georgia a 9 in the Midwest, Oklahoma a 9 in the West, Arkansas a 10 in the West, Vandy a 10 in the East, Texas an 11 in the Midwest. Earlier today, I talked to SEC Commissioner Greg Sankey about how well his league did on Selection Sunday.
I'm incredibly proud for our programs and our coaches and our campus leadership. It's been a bit of a journey from the years when we often have only 3 teams or 4 teams selected to 14 of our 16. And when you include our women's teams, all 16 of our universities will be playing in March Madness in both men's and women's basketball. And I really, really hope we can continue the momentum forward that we've built this year. It's been just a great and remarkable and really historic season for our basketball programs.
With 14 teams in this opportunity, how important is it to seize the moment and win a championship?
I was asked today about, is there more pressure? I don't think the pressure changed.
Well, you can't fill out a bracket and just go chalk the whole way. That's no fun. If you're looking for an upset, why not Troy over Kentucky? Troy won the Sun Belt tourney, beating Arkansas State. Taden Conaway is the guy who makes the Trojans go. He scored 16 points in the final 10 minutes of that game.
Playing one of the Blue Buds, probably honestly the school that has the biggest fan base in the country. They're all eyeballs are going to be on that game. It's a great matchup. I know they're going to be hard to stop.
Yeah, keep an eye on those Trojans. Still to come on March Mayhem, the Alabama women's team is also in the hunt for a national title, and the NIT has a strong Alabama flavor.
And will we have an all-SEC Final Four? The conditions are favorable for that to happen. The Tide, Tigers, and Gators and Vols could all get there. The Zone guys make their Final Four picks coming up next.
I had a couple of upsets.
Welcome back to March Mayhem. I brought the zone guys in, Doug Segrest and Ryan Brown, to make their final 4 picks. Guys, let's start in the South, where Auburn earned the number 1 overall seed with what Bruce Pearl called a historic resume, 16 quad 1 wins. To get to the final 4, they may have to go through Michigan State, but they've gone through an SEC gauntlet already. So the winner of the South region will be
the Auburn Tigers. And I think this gauntlet actually helps kind of refocus and re-energize them.
I say it's Michigan State. I thought for the overall number 1 seed, Auburn actually got a very difficult draw, including you were going to have to play an SEC team. For Texas A&M to be that team, Buzz Williams, the coach, has had Bruce Pearl's number, a team Auburn has had difficulty beating. It did not look like the bracket over the overall number 1 seed to me.
Yeah. The South winner will play the West winner in the Final 4. The number 1 seed.
Where was Todd Golden coaching before?
San Francisco, but he still owns a house out there.
Yes. They're going to be right at home. This Florida team's just peaking at the right time.
Playing the best basketball of anybody in the country right now, and I don't know that it's even close. It's, in fact, of who's number 2. Florida, when they're elite and playing their game as well as they can, there's not a team that beats them, but it's just hard to do that for 6 games.
Yeah.
And they got to go East Coast to West Coast. Look, I know we travel by plane, not horse and buggy anymore, but that is still a lot to ask to go from the Raleigh all the way over to San Francisco.
In the East region, Duke is the number 1 seed. The Blue Devils won the ACC tournament without Cooper Flagg, who went down in the quarters with an ankle injury. His ankle is expected to be well enough to dance later this week. Might we see a Duke-Bama showdown in the East final in Newark? That would be fun. Who you got winning the East?
I got Alabama. I think this Duke is somewhat of a paper tiger. Alabama's got more veteran leadership. And again, if Grant Nelson is healthy and Mark Sears is on, this team can win it all.
Mark Sears has not been on, and that has been an issue for Alabama. And you don't know about Grant Nelson's health. I think he's going to be okay, but that is the biggest storyline here is the health of Cooper Flagg and Grant Nelson for those 2 teams. I do think it'll be Duke-Bama, but I think Duke gets the win.
Could the champ come out of the Midwest? The road to the Final 4 has got to run through Houston. If you're a Midwest region title holder wannabe, and the Cougars, man, they are fast and they are physical. So who do you like? The Cougars to get there, or are you taking someone else from that region's field of 16?
I got Houston and Tennessee facing off for the Final 4. I mean, this game, the over-under may be 50, but I think Houston is better equipped for that. They've been this range before. And this is one of his better offensive teams.
Yeah, Kelvin Sampson and Rick Barnes have shared a lot. They're both defensive geniuses, but both of them have had teams that can go in offensive slumps. And it seems like this year Sampson has fixed that much better than Rick Barnes has. That's why I like Houston to beat Tennessee.
All right. Thanks, Doug. Thanks, Ryan. Jamie and I will be right back with some final thoughts on March Mayhem. Okay, Jamie, now's the time when we really feel like news anchors. We're going to toss to a weather anchor.
Riley Blackwell joined us. Riley, what weather can Alabama and Auburn fans expect in Lexington and Cleveland?
I can say one thing off the top. It's going to be a lot cooler the further north you go. So first, let's look at Lexington. Auburn will be first game on Thursday. It's going to be a little on the cooler side, but overall mostly sunny. Maybe a stray shower by Friday. And Saturday, some clouds, going to be in the low 60s. And in Cleveland, Ohio, even further north, and it's going to be even cooler. Once again, expecting the chance for a few showers on Friday, but other than that, highs in the 40s and 50s with partly to mostly sunny skies. So over the next couple of days, a system is going to be moving through. It could bring some showers as early as Wednesday afternoon for Lexington, but overall, not really expecting very turbulent weather in both Lexington and Cleveland. Might need to pack an umbrella for early Thursday morning if you're out and about. But other than that, March Mayhem, not in the forecast. Jeff, Jamie?
All right, it's great to have Riley in the show. All right, Jamie, the Alabama men are competing for a national title, but so are the Alabama women.
That's right. The Crimson Tide got their official bid last night. Alabama is the 5th seed in the tournament. The Crimson Tide will play Wisconsin Green Bay Saturday in College Park, Maryland. It's the 3rd straight NCAA tournament appearance for the Tide under head coach Christy Curry, who respects their opponent. The Phoenix have won 22 in a row.
That never, ever crosses our mind. We respect everyone. The way we've built this program is with respect for others and grit and hard work. And I think that, blue collar, and I think they're very similar to who we are as far as how they've built that program.
We have 4 teams from the state in the NIT. Tuesday at 6, Jack State is at Georgia Tech. Wednesday at 6, UAB plays at St. Joe's, while Sanford plays at George Mason. Wednesday at 7, North Alabama plays at Bradley. Now, we've heard from the Zone guys. Now it's our time for the Final Four picks. We filled out our brackets in the sports office, and here's what we came up with. In the South, I've got Auburn. In the West, Florida. In the East, Alabama. And in the Midwest, Houston. That's right, 3 SEC teams. My national champ is Florida over Houston.
I disagree. In the South, I've got Michigan State. The West, give me Florida. In the East, the Duke Blue Devils in a close one over Alabama. In the Midwest, the Tennessee Volunteers, and the champion is going to be Florida over Duke. And look, I'm not going to have a perfect bracket, but I'm rooting for an Alabama-Auburn final. I think that would be really cool. I just don't see a Final Four in either team's future this year, but I've never felt more confident in a national title pick. Florida's so good right now.
Florida is playing out its peak right now, unreal.
And, that'll do it for our show. The SEC, Jamie, I think, is going to show their stuff. Just like they did in the non-conference. They were so dominant in that. I'm sure they're going to have a great run in the conference, as Greg Sankey said earlier on in our show. That'll do it for us. Thank you for watching. ABC World News with David Muir is coming up next.